Welcome to Northern Lights. I'm Dwain,
And Mark,
and today we're going to do our UFC 271 predictions.
yeah. So with this one, we were literally just gonna give our predictions for the co-main event, which is Taito Ivasa versus Derek Lewis, and the main event, which is obviously Adesanya versus Whitaker. Because I'm going to be going to bed very soon. Now I'm back in the UK to get up at 3 a.m. to actually watch the card. I really did take it for granted when I'd been in New Zealand and Australia, to be honest, to be able to watch that during the day at the pub with my mates instead of in the freezing cold. But anyway, such is life.
Yeah. But Matt, I can see how late. It's not even late. It's not even 5 o'clock yet, and it looks so dark for you. Like it's already time for bed.
Well, that's up north, isn't it? Like you keep saying.
There's no sun in Lancashire.
No, there just isn't. No, we just know eternal darkness. There's no summer either. It's just warm rain. But okay, so what do you think actually about Tuivasa versus Derek Lewis? Because don't forget, Tuivasa is ranked number 11 and Derek Lewis is ranked number 3. It's a big jump.
Yeah, definitely. It's a massive jump, isn't it? I think the heavyweight division's such an interesting division, isn't it? Because there's these sort of really high skilled level fighters like Cyril Gane and Francis Ngannou now and Stipe. And then there's sort of this lower end where it's just stand and bang kind of guys. But where do Derek and Ty sort of fit on that? I don't really know.
I think in the press conference they had it right where they were both saying it's just, well, they were hinting at stand and bang, because they're both just heavy hitters. And Ty comes out. If you watch his last few fights, like say with Greg Hardy, he got tagged before he knocked him out, and with Augusto Sakai, he were a bit more reserved. But he's got mean leg kicks as well, though. Does Ty? If he can chop down Derek Lewis, he might actually do himself a favor. But I think
hopefully that's what he's doing. I mean, if he's got to be smart about it, hasn't he? Because if he can win this, he's got a real chance of getting a championship fight, like a real chance.
It could well
so
be
hopefully he doesn't stand and bang. If he stay, because we've seen Lewis get battered by people who throw leg kicks at him. If he just stays back, throws leg kicks at him, tire him out, knock him out, he can do it. But I don't know if that will happen.
When people say, "Oh, it's going to be a stand and bang, it's not going to leave the first round," with Ty, you kind of believe him because he's not taking anything away from him because he's evolved a lot as a fighter, but he's not like Cyril Gane where he's very, very technical. He will go for the knockout. He definitely will. But my prediction, I think seriously that Derek Lewis is going to knock him out in the first round. And I want Ty to win. How big of a fan I am of Ty. Yeah. And I think he's going to get a bit overzealous and Ty's going to catch him with something. Because if you takes a full swing by Derek Lewis, to be fair, but I think it's either in the first or the second round, but I'll go the first, I think.
I think, it's a hard one. I think I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go Ty. I think Ty's going to win by decision. I don't think they're going to knock each other out. I think Ty's giving up this big game. Like, I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to knock you out. But I think that's a ploy. I think he's got a new team in Dubai, hasn't he? Is it Dubai or Abu Dhabi? I forgot. He's I think it's Dubai. He's got a new team in Dubai for his last 2 fights. I think he got rocked in his fight against Greg Hardy. I think he's learned. I nearly fucked up there. I think he's going to be a lot more reserved than he's acting. And I think he's going to come in with some leg kicks. I think he's going to stay away. Yeah. And I think he's going to win by decision. Oh, I don't know though.
It's tough,
I really don't know.
It's tough though because you don't. To be quite honest, I don't want either of them to lose. Really, I mean, I'm a big fan of Tuivasa, and I really don't want him to lose. So I'd rather him win. But I think Derek Lewis is going to catch him in the first round, and I think, I'll go for that. I hope it isn't another Ngannou and Lewis though, where it's just 3 rounds. I can't imagine that. I really cannot picture that just with you. You've got in there, and Derek knows, from that. I know that was a few years ago, and etc. But bringing us back from that, so that's our predictions. You've got Tuivasa decision. I've got Lewis knockout. Now, what do you think of the main event? You've got Israel Adesanya against Rob Whitaker. The rematch. Yeah. I was actually at the first one. The first one in Melbourne, 243.
You were there.
I went to go watch it. Yeah.
The thing, it's like the last fight. I love both fighters and I want them both to win. It's exactly the same with this fight. I love I love Izzy and I love Whitaker. And I don't know who I want to win. I keep going back and forth. It's not even a case of who I think is going to win. It's a case of who I want to win. I really don't know. I think that's the problem because we're such big UFC fans. We'll watch all the fight nights and all the main pay-per-views. You become such big fans of everyone, don't you? So you don't want anyone to lose. You're just like, I don't want them to lose.
You just
So
want
it's
them all
difficult.
to be peaceful and happy with each
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
I might just start getting into golf or something or chess.
Yeah, I think you're better off with that, to be honest.
Definitely. It's too
Actually,
emotional.
not just because I'm a big Rob fan, but I'd love for him to be able to win for a couple of reasons. Because A, we'll get a trilogy. B, it's like we've said millions of times when it's a really dominant champion, it almost becomes a bit of a dead division where someone's just getting fed. So it's nice to know that he is beatable at middleweight.
Yeah, definitely.
So if Rob does it, it's proved that he is actually, he can be beaten at middleweight by who they've got at the moment. And like I say, you'll get the trilogy fight, which will be immense. Because when a trilogy has happened, so it's 1-1, it just makes it that much better.
But I think even if Whitaker wins, we'll still be in the same position. Because Whitaker and Izzy are miles ahead of everyone else in the division. It's exactly the same as featherweight. It's like we're going to get Volkanovski and Holloway 100 times. It's those two and then these two. So I feel like no matter what, we've still got this really dominant vision because everyone Izzy's beat, Whitaker's beat as well, right? I think so, pretty much.
Apart from Vittori, I think.
Yeah, but I think Whitaker does Vittori if they fight. But
yeah, I'd like to think so. But I get what
Yeah.
you mean, as in, but I really, because it'll become a 2-man division again, like you said. Because at the moment it's a 1-man division, but Whitaker's, in the past 3 fights he's had, who did he have straight after that? He's had Cannonier, he's had Darren Till
Gastelum.
and Gastelum, since they fought, and they were really good fights, But I think.
It's a hard one, especially
I'm
for
not
you,
100%
Mark.
sure on my what.
It's definitely hard for you because you're a fan of Whitaker and then you're best mates with Izzy, so that's hard.
Well, this is the thing. My new mate Izzy, when I just
Your
met
best
him, track it on, he gave me the blueprint of what he's going to do. You see, so I can't go against him.
Did you give him advice? Did you give Izzy advice when you met him?
Yeah, I was sat there and I says, mate, look, I've studied Rob Whitaker's tapes. I've studied him, right? And what you can notice is that, he likes the stomp against Darren Till sort of thing. So just watch out for that, pal, And obviously he shook my hand and just says, oh, cheers, mate. I think, I didn't think of that. Neither did my coaches. So this fat guy in the bar that I've just met and asked me for a picture, he's got it right down. Honestly. I'm expecting a call from Dana next week, honestly.
But, 100% to be a fight analysis. Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
What did you actually say to him, Matt? What did you actually say?
I walked over. His friend, we were a group of chaps, and his friend were in front of him. And I walked over and I says, "Is that Israel?" And to his credit, he reached over the table and he actually grabbed my hand and he just says, "Nice to meet you."
Nice.
So I thought that was nice. So I walked around and I just, like a prick, I called him the middleweight king. And
Well, you loser.
I know, yeah.
You were drunk, though, right? You were pissed.
I was pissed, right? And so I'd said that to him, and then I says, "I hope you don't mind. Can I get a quick picture?" And he says, "Yeah, I'll take it." So he looks underneath at my phone. I went, "My phone's shit, mate. You might be better with flash." And he went, "No, I don't want anyone to come over." And I'm like, "Oh, fair enough. Then just take this dog shit standard picture." Took it, and I just said, "Good luck in your next fight." And he just gave me a fist bump. I didn't tell him that I'd like Rob to win,
No.
I didn't want to have to take him outside, if he kicked
You didn't have to fight him definitely while you're there, yeah.
This is it. But I'm gonna say,
are you going with your best friend or?
I think my heart wants Rob by decision, but I think my head is going Izzy by decision. Believe it or not, I think he's gonna be, because he's gonna expect Rob to be coming out, maybe not for the kill, but to be a little more. I won't mind scraping it by points, sort of thing, just to get a win. And I think Izzy, I'm not saying it's going to be a boring fight, but I think that it's going to be a little more reserved than the first one, because Rob came out, didn't he? If you remember that fight at 243, he's throwing head kicks and all that, and he got dropped at the very last second of the first round, and then obviously it ended in the second. But yeah, I think my head, my final point is going to be Izzy by decision. I think he's going to retain.
By decision. I'm really stuck. I really don't know because my heart wants both of them to win, and my head thinks both of them to win as well. I feel like it can really go either way. I think a lot of people have got this idea in their head that because he got beat by Jan, they're like, "Oh, well, we've got the blueprint now. That's how he's going to beat him."
Yeah, I think Rob said
People
that,
need
didn't
to
he?
remember, Izzy is massive. Like you saw it in the face-off. He's 4 inches taller than Rob, and Rob's not as strong as you. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, Whitaker's definitely strong, but I mean, is he as physically strong as Jan? Is he as strong as those guys up in that weight? Like, look at the size of Costa. Costa couldn't take him down. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to be a real striking match, and I think you're 100% right. It's going to be a lot more calculated. Rob's not going to come running in, and we've seen Izzy mostly focus on counters. That's really what he is a counter striker. So if Rob's patient, I think he can get it done.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at it again, and that was the first meeting that they had. That was Rob's first fight in about 18 months. Because he had a hernia and stuff like that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, maybe he was just a little overzealous. I don't know, but Rob's, he'll call a spade a spade. He's like, he beat me the first time. So, as in, he wants to prove that he's good enough to hang with him. But I think it's similar to, the weight division below, like the Kamaru Usman and Colby, where you go, well, that's the only person to beat them. But if they get beat, you think, well, who else is there? Unless he wants to go up again, try his luck going up again or something. But
yeah, he might do eventually.
I'm sure he said, he's not done, but he wants to go back down to after the Yan fight. He said, I want to go back down to middleweight, prove that this is my division, which he did with Vittori, and which obviously he hopes and he might well do to Whitaker tonight.
Right. I still don't know. I really don't know. I think I'm going to go Rob by decision. I don't think Rob's getting cut. I've gone really crap picks today. I'm sure I've gone Ty by decision. I'm Rob by decision. Oh, I'm definitely wrong. But that's what I'm sticking with.
More reserved. I'm usually the one that's wrong. Whenever I pick a fight, I think it's going to be knockout. It's the most boring thing that you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, I think Izzy might be in for a rude awakening. I think Rob's gonna really put his own work in, done a lot of work for this fight.
Yeah,
and I think he might win. Yeah, I'm gonna say Rob by decision.
Okay, yeah, it's fair enough. I mean, I think, I think it'll really tell, especially straight after this. We'll have a collab, we'll have a little breakdown of what's happened, and we can talk about how wrong we are and how wrong we have been in our predictions, like we do every month. To be honest with you, but that's the best thing about it.
Yeah, definitely. That's the thing, isn't it? Because even if we're wrong, we're wrong. It doesn't matter. It's still going to be amazing fights. I was a bit dubious about this card at first, but then I realised how good the fights were. Like when it first got announced, it was just Whitaker and Izzy. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that bothered. And then, well, obviously I'm bothered. I want a good card. But, it's just a really packed card, and I'm really excited for it. It's going to be a good night.
Well, I think, Dwayne, that's been our predictions for 271. Yeah. I'm going to have some food and get to bed, I think. So I'm up at 3. I'm not used to this now. I used to it during the day.